Is Microsoft screwing gamers? Did EA just die? And what's with this weird-looking remake? All this and more on this week's episode of Pixel Realms. Except, well, we've rebranded. Welcome to the loading screen. Want to stay up to date with our content? Hit that like and subscribe button. So, Joe, we look a little different this week.
Yeah, just a little bit. We still have that pixel in our name, as you see with our new fancy logo. Very simple, the loading screen. And Mark and I were thinking about this for a while, something that kind of makes a little bit more sense to what we're talking about. We thought Pixel Realms was, well, not really capturing any audience, really wasn't great for searchability, but
Yes.
loading screen seems to be a lot more better. We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're tiny, and people need to be able to find us if we want to grow. We need to be able to grow. People got to be able to find us, and that's the problem. Like when you typed in Pixel Realms, it was a little hard to find us. You had to specifically type Pixel Realms podcast, and then we would start to come up. So we wanted to change that a little bit, and the loading screen just kind of fits, I think, a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's going to work out really well. I'm super excited. Let's jump into news. Let's jump into the hot news of the week. There are two major stories we're going to hit off right off the bat, and we were initially going to cover this right away at the announcement date. P2, welcome in. Will, welcome in. But things came up, and life is life. So
yeah, where
do we think EA is going to be after a $55 billion buyout?
I'm a little interested. I'm interested in this, and then I'm not. But like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they're gonna so much die as I've noticed that I guess you could say the Saudi Republic has started taking more interest in stuff in the US. They've been trying to change their image. I've started noticing that because I'm a pro wrestling fan, and they started heavily dealing with the WWE to the point that they're going to be getting a WrestleMania here in the next like 2 years. Mm-hmm. And WrestleMania is the big show, the big one that WWE does every year, and Saudi Arabia is going to be getting one. So
it's funny. I was just telling people at work the other day, it's crazy to think the following, that wrestling, at least the US type of wrestling, is a US sport, right? Mm-hmm. And it's going to be, and here's the like WWE's been really venturing over to Saudi Arabia a lot over the past, even I, who don't follow wrestling, knows that they have had many shows in Saudi Arabia. And there's
controversy, obviously, but
yeah, there's even rumors that Saudi Arabia might buy the company that owns both the UFC and WWE at some point.
Yes.
So we're talking about an American sport. UFC is also as Americans you're going to get as well, being owned by a Saudi Arabia company. Like it's and that's wild.
The thing that bothers me is the stagnant. Like, okay, I understand the point of views that people are very negative about Saudi Arabia, given its track record, given history. That all makes sense. But we've been taught as human beings that, things can change, people can change. Is this a money grab? Probably.
Oh,
but is there a chance? But is there a chance that people could genuinely be trying to change for the betterment of their company, or not even their company, their country? That is a possibility. I mean, until we're completely proven wrong, and that this is just 100%, bullshit cover up, then let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, with them buying EA, does that mean that they're going to take better? They're going to have more of direction of what is portrayed in games, maybe? Or are they just going to say, well, the money that EA makes now is going to start funneling in here instead, and you guys just keep making what you make?
Well, so Saudi Arabia is known to be very what's the word I'm looking for?
They're very censorship heavy.
Yeah, so as long as they don't do that with primarily US games, I'm fine with that, whatever.
Yes,
but
exactly.
they start censoring U.S. games, we have a problem. we have a problem because you
What?
imagine if they start censoring out the way that Star Wars games are made, you know, or
Yep.
Battlefield. Battlefield, that's another thing. Battlefield is a U.S. thing, right? It's
Yep.
U.S. forces against, you know, they don't normally say who the enemies are. That, you know, the Medal of Honor did that once upon a time with Iraq, and that went to hell. But they don't say what the, you know, quote unquote terrorists are, or the enemy. But everyone who's
Yeah.
played the games knows that it's someone in the Middle East.
And
You know,
so, but
it's always the Middle East.
here's the one thing. Here's one thing that I'm curious about, and Will said it in the chat. Like 55 billion. I don't know if that's. I wonder if EA is worth a little more than that, given the titles and the franchises that
You got to
they
think
own.
Madden
Yeah.
alone has to generate a crap load of money for EA.
So it makes me wonder, why would they sell for 55 billion unless they don't, unless they know something we don't, obviously, when it comes to how much they're worth and we're willing to sell for.
Like outside of Madden, you got Madden, you got Need for Speed, you got
Star
Battlefield, you
Wars.
got Star Wars. Well, but Star Wars is it's still a Disney IP, and
Yeah,
they just get
true.
licenses to do it. Like they're, you know, Disney licensed it out to Ubisoft as well, and a bunch of, you know, mobile developers. So like that's just a license. But like Need for Speed
Yeah,
is
that's true.
EA, Battlefield
Yeah.
is EA, Madden technically is a license, but
I
it
mean,
is a
55
license.
billion.
EA Sports, yeah, all the EA Sport
Yeah.
titles, the soccer games, you know, they don't have
But
any baseball
55
games.
billion is a lot of money. I mean, maybe we're is it bad that we're underestimating how much money that is? And maybe, I mean, because didn't we look this up like recently, that like Disney bought
Oh yeah,
Star Wars for a lot less than we thought,
yeah.
and Marvel. So maybe that actually is like a huge deal. I don't know.
So just quickly looking here at Madden. This is
Mhm.
2018, but okay, so they sold 130 million copies of Madden in 2018. That was a while back ago, but if we take the math at that number and times that by
2018.
$60, that's 7 billion, oh, almost $8 billion.
That's still not 55 billion.
Yeah, but that's just one game.
Yeah,
And now
I don't
who
know.
knows how much it costs
It's
to make the
weird.
game and how much the license costs and all that stuff too. So, you know, they might have only made
Yeah,
$1 billion out of it.
yeah. So I don't know. I guess it remains to be seen what happens with it. Will we start to see heavy censorship? Because that's another thing. Granted, they're supposedly saying that they're changing things, but they don't like scantily clad women.
Yeah.
Women can't show skin.
Yeah.
So are there going to be games that they put out where that have women in it, and all the women are going to be forced to be dressed and covered from head to toe? So it's things like that like it's going to be very interesting to see how much EA is still EA and how much is Saudi Arabia saying this is what you're doing in your games now.
Yeah.
So
I agree with
now,
that. And like, here's the thing, if you look at like, oh, what, geez, I forgot about this. The Sims. The Sims is owned
oh
by
yeah,
EA.
yeah,
That's got to
The
make
Sims
them
is
a
huge.
crap load of money. The Sims is the number 12th best-selling game of all time. And so that's an EA game. That's the only game they have in the top. Oh gosh, this goes on forever. Top 50 games. They only have
Mm-hmm.
one game that's in the top 50 for EA.
That's Sims. Yep.
That's
I mean,
interesting. I thought they'd have bigger. I thought it would be a bigger deal.
hmm, it'll be interesting to see going forward.
Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of going forward and whatnot, what about Microsoft?
Uh, oh crap. Hold on. One more
Yeah,
thing. I forgot they have Dragon Age. They have Mass Effect. Oh my gosh.
that's true. They
Wow.
do. They
I love my
do.
Dragon
They
Age.
do.
Okay. Anyways,
I
yeah.
love. I love. I love Mass Effect.
You had a great segue, and I just screwed it all up.
No, it's
Now,
fine because you're. I mean, that's why we're live, right? Because we have these. We're human, and you just thought of something, and it works.
51% of stock is enough. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you, Will.
Mm-hmm.
So, well,
Microsoft
it's going
raises game prices by 50%.
they're in some pretty hot water. And okay, this is what's funny is that what was it? 2 weeks ago, Jimmy
Yeah.
Kimmel. We were going to do an episode about this, but Jimmy Kimmel was pulled off the air,
Mm-hmm.
and because of whatever's happening. But the Disney Plus website for cancellation went down because of the sheer number of volume of people that were unsubscribing from Disney or for Disney Plus because of the Jimmy Kimmel thing. And we've
Yep.
seen the exact same thing happen with Microsoft and Game Pass. Their server went down for their cancellation because of the sheer number. Now, who knows if they pulled the plug on it, because they could have easily done that, like, oh crap, we're losing all this, maybe we won't let them we won't let them cancel. Which is why whenever I subscribe to something I know that I'm not going to keep long enough, I unsubscribe the next day, because at least I know I have
Yep.
that 30 days worth, and
Well,
then it will automatically cancel.
they didn't. They didn't, because I canceled Game Pass yesterday on my wife's computer because she had a free trial,
Yeah.
and she hasn't been playing it, and I just wanted to make sure I caught it before it charged.
Yeah.
So I had no problems unsubscribing yesterday. So as of yesterday, you could still unsubscribe.
I think because when did they raised the prices on Wednesday, or is that Thursday? One of the 2 days. But the
I
day
don't
that
remember.
they announced it is when it went down for
Yeah,
several
so
hours. And here's the cool thing, though. GameStop, who currently is selling the physical game cards for Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, is not increasing the cost until those cards run out. So good on them,
yeah,
at least, for doing the right thing.
yeah. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure Microsoft is going to contact them though and be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"You need to pull those cards." It's just a matter. It's just a wonder though. Is Microsoft going to backtrack and say, "Oops, my bad," or are they going to keep it as is? Because
Well,
let's be realistic here. We always kind of scratched our heads at the fact that Game Pass was so cheap,
and we talked about
and
that
now
before
they're
on the
yeah,
podcast.
and now they're raising the prices to probably maybe where it probably should have been in the first place. But now we've been so used to having Game Pass at the cheaper price, jumping such a high amount and so quickly is, and you
See,
see what's going on.
I bought the last time I got Game Pass, I had it for Avowed. I wasn't sure if I'd like Avowed or not, but I ended up loving it. And I ended up beating it within like a week, and then I canceled the subscription. And I tried a couple other games, but nothing really interests me enough to keep Game Pass. And my thought now is the following: is you could buy Game Pass for 2 months, right? And it's the same cost of pretty much buying a new game. So if you're going in there
Yep.
just for the one game, if you feel like you're going to be playing that game 2 months out, just buy the game.
Yep.
For example,
Yep.
we got Battlefield 6 coming out next Friday, I think it is. I'm going to get EA's Play Pass, whatever the thing's called. I'm going to get that one so I can play Battlefield. But I know
Mhm.
that I'm not going to like Battlefield enough to want to keep it. I'm not going to play it
Yeah.
enough to take advantage of the $70 price tag, whatever they're charging for it. So I'm going to play it for the month if the servers hold up, and enjoy what I have, and then I'll cancel my subscription. But I'm also going to use it so I can play the F125 game and see if I like that, because it's on sale at Steam. So I might buy that from Steam. So this, I feel, is the best way to use Game Pass. There are some
By
people.
the way,
Huh?
the Steam sale ends the 6th, so if you're gonna
Oh shoot!
check it
Okay,
out,
cool.
yeah, that F1 game won't be on sale for much longer.
Wow, that's a fast fall sale. Normally it's
Yeah,
like 2
it
weeks,
was
isn't it?
the fall sale is usually only about a week. You're thinking of the big summer sale that they do in like July, and then
Yeah.
obviously the Christmas one.
Okay. Good. Thanks for letting me know. I thought it was longer. Cool.
Yeah, I didn't mean to segue from that,
Yeah,
but
no, that's
like I
good.
just
That's
figured.
good. Meta and Nintendo does the same with subs. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
And Nintendo's, speaking of subs,
we
Nintendo, I
don't have
feel,
anything good to say about Nintendo right
well,
now.
they do the right thing though with their subscription, because theirs is like what? How much is it? You have it, don't you?
So for the full family pack, it cost me $80
A year.
for a whole year.
Yeah, and that's like
It's
what, $8
$34.
or something a month. That's a reasonable for
Yeah,
what you get from it.
it's
Like, it should be cheaper.
$34.99 for one person for the year, and 79.99 for the whole family for a year.
Okay. Because I remember when it was just like, when it first came out, it was like $30 or something like that for the year, but it didn't offer anything really other than like game or cloud storage and maybe a handful of trial games or something. I don't know.
I still don't like Nintendo's pack though, because I pay it because it gives you full access to their older stuff, and mostly I pay it because my son plays Mario Kart and he wants to be able to get online and do that. But like other than that, I feel like the Nintendo one's a little bit overpriced. And now with Microsoft with Game Pass, I'll be honest, I've ever since the inception of Microsoft Game Pass, I hardly ever use it. I think I usually sub it when they have like a special where
Hmm.
it's like $1 or whatever, because
Yeah.
like I get the idea in my head. Oh, I'll just sub the Game Pass and play some of these games, and then I'll sub the Pass and just
Never
completely
touch it.
forget about it. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
games that I play are usually indie games that not even that Game Pass isn't going to get. So I just buy them outright for $7, $12, $15 instead of paying $15 monthly to play a set core amount of games.
Yeah.
I'll buy the one game that I'm going to play, put $15 worth of game time into it, and then be done with it. So
Yeah.
Game Pass has never really been for me anyways, even though it's still was a great deal. Now it's a little not so much.
Will says family wise, it's interesting. Yeah, for sure. Like the
Yeah.
family plans are. I see every company needs to offer, and I know that some people take advantage of systems like this. But you have to look at it this way: the companies, companies are going after it because of profit. But if they offered more family options, if more companies offered more family options, I feel like their subscription levels will go higher because
They need
families
more
can put
family
money
options
together
and more
and
annual passes.
and more, yeah. Like
I
I don't
hate
know.
I
Imagine,
hate some of these companies that don't do annual passes. Netflix can suck my fucking nuts for that very reason. You have to pay. They keep increasing their prices for every couple months, and then right now it's $20 and change after tax for 1 month of Netflix. You cannot pick a 6 months option. You
mhm,
cannot pick a 1 year option. No, you have to pay monthly. And I'll tell you what, that's one of the reasons why I almost never sub to them unless my wife wants to watch something on there, because I can get a year's worth of Paramount, usually discounted. I can get Peacock. I can get Crunchyroll. I can get just about any of the major services have some kind of annual deal that is at least a little bit cheaper, or maybe it's the right amount, but at least you could pay it all up front and not have to worry about something dinging your bank account every single month. But
yeah.
Netflix says, fuck you. And there's not enough companies that do that, that do the annual passes, or like have a family, deal.
You think it'd be smarter for them to do annual pass because then they would get the money at least right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't. Once you get annual, can you cancel it? You probably can't cancel it until because you have to pay for that whole year and you're
Well,
stuck with it for the
if
year,
you
right?
pay for the whole year, and then
Do you
cancel
get
it,
prorated?
I think so. There's two ways that they can do it. They can either say, "Oh, you canceled it pretty quickly after paying, so they've obviously made it by mistake, and they'll refund you the money," or they just say, "Okay, well, you've canceled it, so you have now this service all the way until the following
Yeah,
year, but at least we won't charge you." Like that's usually the only one or two ways that they do that.
yeah.
Um, so if you pay it, you pay it.
First off, subscriptions can bite my ass because I hate subscriptions. Period.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's that's the way life is. I don't mind subscriptions as much as the fact is that we need 7,000 of them.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
if there was one or two or maybe three core ones, like I go to Crunchyroll for all of my anime, for example. You go to Netflix for all of your movies, maybe, and then maybe there's one more for TV shows or something like that. I wouldn't mind paying that, but like the fact that there's HBO Plus, you know, Paramount, Peacock, XYZ, LMNOP, Up a Tree, Up Fly a Kite,
Mark
all of that.
mark my words. Within time, we're gonna have subscription for our AC, for our microwaves, for the
Oh, yeah.
refrigerator. You want to nuke that, whatever, lasagna faster? Well, get a subscription. And now you can do higher watts.
What about can we get a mystery box for it instead? Do you want to nuke that lasagna and it come out right? Well, buy our gamer box and get the gotcha pull and hope that it comes out right. Oh, you pulled a dud. It's burnt.
So on to
You want
continuous.
to breathe air? Well, pay $14.99 and we'll let you breathe. How about and if you want premium air, pay $19.99. Oh, you didn't pay in time. Sorry, no air.
Microsoft reportedly testing free Xbox cloud gaming supported by ads. This would be
What the fuck
interesting.
does that mean?
Well, so for people that don't have high-end systems or even computers at all, sometimes you can use this Game Pass or this Game Cloud stuff on like tablets and whatnot. It runs through the network, right? And the cloud gaming has come a long way. Nvidia's
through internet specifically.
Yeah. No system. You don't have you just have like your tablet. Like the Xbox Cloud and Nvidia's game, whatever their thing's called, have come a very long way. The latency is much improved in the old days.
I don't know. I'm still kind of iffy on it, but I'm hearing you.
Yeah, like I remember trying the PlayStation. PlayStation 1 was one of the first ones that had the PlayStation. What the heck was theirs called? It was a cloud one.
Yes. I know which one you're talking about because I did that for a short time for a couple games where I was able to play it on my PC, but it was a PlayStation game. I think it was just like Play or something.
It's something, yeah, and like it worked. It's just the latency was a little long. I remember trying to play God of War, a game that's action based, and hit a button and there was that delay where I'm like, oh shit, well it's not working.
Depending on the game, there was latency. There was definitely latency depending on the game. Like an RPG where it was like turn based was fine, but something that was more action based, not so much.
Will says in Holland we have toilet subs.
Oh God! Pay $5 to get butt wash.
Cloud gaming is the future, Will says, and then P2 says cloud gaming. Not a fan of cloud gaming. Yeah, so that's interesting because it's like some people are pro, some are against it. I understand the argument for both sides because, as technology has improved, the prices seem to have gone up, especially with graphic cards and chips themselves. And if you can pay, $20 a month to have a high-end system that you don't own, but you're subscribed to, and you have a high-end network, that might be the option to go with.
If you're running gigabit internet, and you probably would find cloud gaming a lot more enjoyable than if you're running, obviously not dial up, but your basic model plan.
DLS, yeah. But so there are different tiers of this cloud gaming stuff I've seen. I think NVIDIA offers like a higher end one. It's probably more expensive, but where you can actually mod the system. So you can throw, if you're playing GTA or something, you can mod in stuff as well. But a lot of them are just like the Xbox Cloud one is. I'm pretty sure it's simply just a bunch of Xboxes, that aren't Xboxes, but it's just the hardware itself that are running through the cloud. And there's no way to mod that kind of stuff. So it's interesting how all this works. And I'm cool with having the free version because it gives those who don't have the ability, don't have the money to buy a console, to buy a PC, to do it on your tablet or whatnot.
But how would ads work? Would that be like during the loading screens, or
it could be maybe at the top? There's maybe a banner at the top, maybe like like watching news. Sometimes the banner that scrolls on the bottom.
Oh, so you like when you go to those websites and you have the really out of place porno ads on the sides while you're playing the game.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Cool. So mom can walk in while you're playing the game, while the side corner saying, "You want big hot jugs in your face? Click here."
Planes with ads in the sim. Speaking of ads or sims, Microsoft Flight Sim is flying onto the PlayStation 5 in November, and I know Will and P2 are both big PC flight simmers. This was a long time coming, Mark.
But why were they waiting so long? And why not just call it, the year that it comes out? If it's coming out this year, for example, why not call it Microsoft Flight Sim 2025 instead of 2024?
Because it's the version that's available right now on Xbox and PC. It's just going to be coming on. It's going to be launching on the 5.
Yeah, I know, but
It's the same version.
they could cheese it though, just to be like and trick people and be like, oh look, if you play, it's exclusive on PlayStation 5. We can get the 2025 version of the game, but it's just
No,
it's the same game.
they'll do that next year when it's the 2-year
Yeah.
anniversary of Flight Sim 2024. The
Oh
special
yeah. Yeah. No,
edition, 42nd anniversary.
get one
Um,
extra plane. 50
so
bucks.
I like P2 asking the right questions. There's a lot of controversy around Flight Sim 2024 because finally there's a new version of it that's in testing right now, a new update for it that might be the version that we've all been waiting for the past year in terms of performance and all that kind of stuff. So the joke is that they should have delayed it a year to actually release the version that is going to be coming out with this new update. So
I just don't get why it took so long to come onto the PS5, unless because it was a Microsoft title that they had to wait.
well,
I'm guessing there had to be, right?
I think
There has to be.
I think it's more of a complex thing. Flight Sim is a pretty aggressive sim, and I'm sure they had to do a lot of tweaking and stuff to make the code work fine on the PS5.
I guess
And then there's also
you
like,
know what it is.
hmm,
It's my ignorance of not being a programmer and knowing how to make games. Because to me, all games are made on PCs. PlayStation 5 and Xbox are essentially tweaked computers.
yeah,
They have different chipsets in there that make them quote unquote consoles,
yeah.
and they can run discs. But at the end of the day, there is a computer inside of that system, and I don't know. I guess there's a coding thing there. Since I don't understand it, it just boggles my mind why a game can come out on, for example, maybe it's been out on the Xbox for a while, uh, and then it takes so much longer for PlayStation to get it.
Yeah, well, this is also, trying to sell more versions of it as well. If you own an Xbox, you're gonna buy an
Yeah,
Xbox. If you own a
obviously.
PC, you're gonna buy a PC. But if you own a
No, obviously,
PS5,
yeah.
so there might be people who are like, oh, they just sold their Xbox, but they still want to use
Now,
Flight Sim.
here's a question.
Hmm.
You would know this better, being a big flight simmer. Will your kit, your gear that you use for, say, if
Oh,
you have
yeah.
will that work on PlayStation 5? Will it be compatible?
That's a good
Usually,
question.
it's just a USB port, right? Usually,
Yes.
and PlayStation has only 2 USB slots
Yeah,
that I know
so
of.
it'll be interesting because a lot of the peripherals right now, in general, just period, are Xbox peripherals. Like I know Moza
Hmm.
has a racing wheel and it's Xbox themed. There's no PlayStation themed one, which is
Yeah.
interesting because
So
PlayStation dominates the console, but I'm sure Microsoft paid a little bit of money. And the same with the flight sim gear. All the flight sim stuff is
I
Xbox
have a
related.
feeling, and I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling flight simmers on PlayStation are going to get screwed over. I think they're going to be stuck with your mandatory PS5 controller and maybe like one accessory, whether it be a wheel or a pedal or something,
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. I just don't see this late in the game, when it comes to an already established release, PlayStation putting out the all the extra peripherals. I just don't see it. I think
Well,
people who play it on PS5 are going to get screwed.
I think there are going to be. I think Thrustmaster and whatnot are going to eventually release versions. P2 says it's going to take a few years for it to be PS5 compatible hardware. Yeah, I think they're going to,
Yeah,
but they're going to wait to see how the sales are first. If their
that's
sales are
fair.
hot, then they'll be like, yeah, we can make some money off this. We can make a joystick, just switch it over so it's PlayStation
But it's
compatible.
such a niche category. Like granted, like there is a hardcore flight sim community.
Hmm.
You guys, the guys in the chat, and you would know but it's such a niche community
It
that
is.
it's not a console game to me. I just don't think so. I can't imagine that it might do okay.
Well, I think
I
it's
just don't see it doing well.
a lot
I
of
don't know.
people who have owned the Xbox version bought a good PC so they can use it on PC.
Because that's the point.
It
That's what it
converts.
should be on.
So I think it converts a lot of people over from console to PC over time,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. I just don't see that happening with PlayStation, because PlayStation people are pretty hardcore PlayStation people to the point where they almost act like there's not a computer inside of their console.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like Nintendo people are hardcore Nintendo people. I think PlayStation people were pretty hardcore PlayStation people. I think that the only reason why I tolerate Xbox people at all is because they at least understand. Well, yeah, it's it's Microsoft, Xbox, and they dabble in computers first, so obviously that's going to be. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, it's not a bad thing to get more flight sim out there in the world because that's just going to bring in new eyes
Mhm.
to the franchise, new eyes to the genre. So that's never a bad thing. I just wonder the space between releases and the fact that it's on PlayStation, if it's going to hurt the overall, I guess, community of being like, oh, well, Xbox version and PC version, they have all this stuff. PlayStation doesn't.
I don't think it's going to hurt anything. It's just going to be interesting to see how well it sells. And then,
Yeah,
for Microsoft to
yeah,
be like, yeah, we made our money back from it, or, well, that was a good experiment, but it failed.
yeah. But Joe, so question, are you a Forza guy?
Oh, I love Forza.
Yeah. So what did you think about the announcement that the next game's going to be taking
Oh,
place
it's going to be
in Japan?
gorgeous. It's going to be
Oh, I'm
gorgeous.
sure.
I love
I'm sure it's going to look
what's
great.
so cool about Forza Horizon is that they are in different countries, different continents a lot of times, in all their games. It's so cool. Like they were in Mexico, they were in Europe not too long ago, and now we're going to Japan. It's so freaking awesome. It's going to look gorgeous. Just imagine the tracks and this. I don't know. It's just going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited.
I wish I liked car games more. Like I've never been a racing guy ever. But even someone who's not a car guy, not a racing guy, like Forza and what's the other version, the PlayStation one
Oh, Gran Turismo.
version, Gran Turismo. Like the cars look like insane.
Hmm.
Like even I can appreciate them. So yeah, I imagine the locales are really gonna be, you know, the big part of this game because I mean at the end of the day it's still a racing game. It's still going to have your really awesome looking cars. They're probably going to have DLCs where you buy like this pack and you get these specialty cars, you
So,
know.
for those who may be listening and who are considering buying Forza, here's the thing I'm going to tell you. And I know, no, almost never ever recommend this, but for Forza, it always, in my opinion, is the best thing to do. And that is to buy the Ultimate Edition because
Mhm.
that comes with all the cars you'll ever going to get, all the DLC cars you'll get for free, with the pack, and then you get the DLCs as well that might come out. And Forza has normally had at least one or two DLCs with it. And long term, I'm talking, a year to 2 years, it's much, much more cheaper getting the full
Mhm.
Ultimate Edition for $100 than it is to buy the $60 version, then eventually buying a DLC for $30 and another DLC for $30. And you're like, oh, I want that car over there, or I want all this XP so I can buy this car. We get all that crap with the Ultimate Edition. So I always recommend just buy that Ultimate Edition. The only game I ever say do that with.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense though. I mean, I'm sure it's a pretty penny though.
Plus, you get it like 3 days early.
Oh, yeah,
So
there's something, I guess.
I'll do it like I did with Horizon 5, like I did with Motorsport. Like I bought the Ultimate Editions. The one game I'll spend the big bucks on getting the Ultimate Edition version
Okay.
for.
Okay.
Technically, I guess I did with Flight Sim too, but it wasn't even the top version. It was like the second from the top version because I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't need no backpack and all that. Speaking of Gran
Yeah.
Turismo as well, they've celebrating their 100 millionth unit sold, which is pretty impressive. For a system that is, well, not selling as great as one had thought it would. They still sold 100 million. That means there's at least 100 million PlayStation 5s out in the wild. And Gran
Yeah.
Turismo is a very sim heavy racer. It's not an arcade racer. Horizon, Forza Horizon, jeez, is a arcade, simcade they call it. But Gran Turismo is a hardcore simmer. And to see it sold that many copies is really good.
I mean, yeah, obviously, and you're right. I guess there's actually 100 million PlayStations out there, or but I'm still waiting for the first game to come out.
Well, I think it's going to be coming out in fall of 2026, and that
Nah,
is
you can't prove it.
Marvel's Wolverine, which exclusively is
I
releasing
was
on the PS5.
I'm so excited for that game, but then I'm not. I'm so excited to play it on PC a year or two later.
Yeah, probably 2028.
Yeah.
Well, they've been doing it about a year later, so maybe fall
It
2027.
does look great though.
So
I
Mark will
will
be
say
really,
that
really old.
I think the guy they chose for Logan, I think it works.
Hmm.
I think it looks great. The action looks brutal.
Hmm.
I mean, at the very least, they're doing right by Wolverine.
I remember seeing the leaks that came out a while back ago, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really, really cool." If they actually stick with the plan for the leak, it's going to be awesome. And they clearly stayed that way with the gameplay trailer. It looks very
Yeah,
similar to that leak, just actually rendered better. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really, really fun. It's interesting. It's still not coming out for another year. It's been in
I
development for
know.
like 5 years or something. So that's a
I'm
long
hoping
time.
I'm hoping that means that they're really trying to get it right. And I'm going to probably be a contrary. This is probably be a contrary opinion on this, but I kind of hope they stick to like no real cameos,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
except for the ones that we've already seen,
Hmm.
and it just be a overall Logan story. And then maybe if they do DLC, then you pack in the cameos because then that could be like the DLC seller
Yeah,
of being like, buy the DLC and you'll get to team up with the X-Men now or members of the X-Men. Whereas like the whole game, the base game is purely focused on Wolverine's story.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited. I think it'd be cool. Obviously, I'm not buying a PS5 for it, but I will play it on PC when it comes out. And like, I enjoyed the Spider-Man game on PS5. I haven't bought Spider-Man 2 because I don't want to spend $40 on a game that's kind of just slightly remastered or slightly better than the first one. But either way, I had a lot of fun with a lot of the Sony games that have come over to PC, and I'm excited to eventually see this one come over to the PC. Uh,
Yeah.
Mark, did you ever play? Now, people call this game different names. I've used to call it. Uh, what is it? What I used to call it now? I don't remember now. Anyways, there's Deus Ex and there's what's the other way? How do Deus
Deus
Ex?
Ex Machina.
Yeah, no, there's another. It's not instead of
Something like that.
Deus, it's something else.
Deuce,
Deus,
Deuce,
do
Deuce
it.
Ex.
Deus Ex, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The Deus Ex or Deus Ex.
I always call it Deus Ex. I did play a little bit of it. I didn't play it for long. The game, and I enjoyed what I played. It was just the game was very dated. When I finally got around to playing it,
Mm.
and I couldn't engross myself in it as much. I felt like it's been long past due, needing a at least a complete remake, if not a quote unquote remaster, which we are getting.
So for those who might be interested in the remaster, maybe look at some screenshots because
It looks like shit.
yeah, yeah, it's a little questionable. A little
Yeah.
questionable of
Yeah.
so we'll see. We'll see. Either way, like the Deus Ex games have always been fun. The last one I played was Mankind Divided, and it was one of the few games that I actually want to buy a new PC or upgrade my PC so I can have better performance out of it. But they're very fun games. It's like cyberpunkish
Hmm.
RPG. It's very good stories,
A,
very good acting,
a
very
lot of
good everything.
people, a lot of people, Joe, Deus Ex is one of their favorite games of all time.
My cousin
I
Rob
know
is
a
one of
lot.
his favorite games.
Yeah, I know some big streamers
Hmm.
that I've watched over the years that Deus Ex is their favorite of all time. Like, it's a very renowned, very beloved game.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what the price tag is. We'll see what it's actually like when it comes out. I'm not buying a day one unless the graphics are adjusted. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Speaking of happening, Halloween is around the corner, Mark.
I hate this announcement pisses me off. Not even the announcement that you're talking about. The fact that they announced the game for a year later,
Well,
and the way they said it.
why not
But
release it on October 31st also? Like, I feel like they
yeah,
missed a stupid opportunity there.
but here's the
Make
thing.
the
What pisses
announcement
me
on
off the
October
most.
31st at least or something.
But this is what pisses me off the most, though. They had the Friday the 13th game.
Hmm.
They had a Jason Voorhees game that they shut down,
Hmm.
and
Well,
for
part
the
of that was
pure
a
purpose.
license. The license expired, and they couldn't get the license again.
Yeah, because they wanted to make their own game and cash in on it.
Well, no, no, no.
which I
So there was a license dispute with who really owned the Friday the 13th
oh
franchise. Yeah, it was part of that. And then the once the final owner was announced or the rights were given to that person, they pulled the rights from the game.
I just I don't know,
So
man.
it's
I
not
just think
their
it's
fault
dumb.
100%. They were able to keep it going. They just had to pull the online part of it. Playing Halloween pinball. That's awesome. I agree with you though. I think the announcement's stupid a year from now. As I said
They
earlier,
already had a loved game. The people there, it had a hardcore fan base.
yeah,
I know streamers who would play it once a year, and the sales for the game would go up every year. It would only be for the Halloween time. The month of October, the sales would go up and people would play the
yeah,
shit out of it.
hmm
So it would only be 1 month a year, but that 1 month a year, it brought in a decent amount of revenue,
yeah,
and it had a very hardcore fan base.
yeah. I think with well, they're learning their lessons definitely with from the Friday the 13th game with this Halloween game is they're allowing you to have bots from day one. They're going to have a single player like campaignish story in there as well. So it's not going to be your traditional 4 versus 1 kind of thing. There will be other options in there. So they're learning because that's what people wanted from Friday the 13th is, well, one, have your own custom servers, two, have the ability to play against bots so you can at least get better at it. And the story,
Uh,
we'll see how the story is.
I
But
guess I
John
just
Carpenter's
the
also
thing
involved
is,
with it too. The actual creator of the Halloween series is involved with it as an executive producer.
I guess my biggest problem is with it is that the Friday the 13th game had a massive following, and it wasn't really about being good at the game. It was about playing it with friends, and you'd have one of your friends would get to be the killer, and you could come up with RP scenarios and be silly and wonky. I don't know. If it's a good game, I'm not gonna knock it, but I just think if anything, they could have done the fan base just better by just kind of maybe trying to help revive the game that died because of the licensing.
Yeah,
And something there to show, just to kind of show support and be like, look, we appreciate you supporting Jason, and being fans of the characters for all this time that you played this other game that unfortunately had to close because of licensing. So either we adapt that game and make some changes, or at least pay homage to the other game.
I think a lot of this though is the fact that Mark doesn't like scary games.
No, I really don't. I don't play games to get scared. I play games to vibe and relax, So that's true.
And our last story for the day. The Simpsons. 18 years later, we're finally getting the Simpsons 2. The first movie was fun. It was a good time. Like it was just a long Simpsons episode. And it's wild to think that Simpsons is like 80,000 years old now and they
I
still come out with crap. And
I wish I could like The Simpsons, but I haven't liked The Simpsons since the original first couple seasons.
oh, I haven't watched it in forever either. I don't know how it's still
Yeah,
around. I just don't know where the money
that's
is coming in.
I think my biggest problem is because it's so old, that the fact that Maggie still has a pacifier, Bart's still the same,
Hey,
Lisa's the same. Like
They
I
finally
feel
killed
like
Marge though. Well, for an
yeah, but
episode.
but it's just for an episode.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I guess I wish, maybe it's because I'm an anime fan, right? Where you can have 100 plus episodes, or even in one show where you have like 1,000 episodes, and the characters at least change, a little bit over time. Maybe they'll grow up a little bit, or they'll at least change their clothes,
well,
yeah, occasionally.
they did that with King of the Hill, which is kind of cool. King of the Hill was off air for like what, a decade, and then they brought finally back a season and aged everyone to the appropriate time, which is kind of cool. It was really neat to see characters you remember watching for years and years and actually age for a change. So it was unique.
And that's kind of what I like what I want in my shows. Is I want to see progression of time. It's one of my biggest pet peeves of Pokemon is you had the same kid that was 10 years old the entire time, and you would literally have episodes where they would celebrate a birthday or this or that, or and literal time goes by, but yet he's still 10 years old.
I think though with The
It's like,
Simpsons, it's tougher though because the stories have to revolve around their age.
yes, but
You know?
imagine the stories that they could tell if they grew up a little. I'm not saying that they had to like age like a regular human, right? Like
God, what
you know,
would
Maggie
Bart would be
was.
like? What, 50 now?
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is maybe only age a year every couple of years. Maybe, you know, right now I think they're in their 35th or 38th season or something like that, right?
Mhm.
They're in the 30s. Maybe, you know, every 5 to 10 years he ages. So by now he would still be maybe in high school.
Okay, I see what you're
And
saying. I see what you're saying.
imagine Bart in high school, the kind of stories that they could tell
Yeah.
with that, and
Well,
having,
especially
you
with
know, maybe.
modern stuff going on.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying is like, why can't we have, or if you can't do that, right? If you
But
can't do,
the same's with South Park though too. South Park they haven't
yeah,
aged.
that's true.
And they've
I
been
don't
on
know.
for
I
like
guess
20 years.
yeah, I mean, but I also don't watch South Park either.
I
Like,
don't
I
either.
don't watch any of these shows anymore because of that. I appreciate the passage of time.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't do very well, unfortunately, but something I was impressed that the Rugrats did. The Rugrats
Oh yeah, I
did
forgot
that,
about that.
where
Yeah.
they actually like grew up
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I don't think the show did well. But I don't think it was necessarily them growing up's fault. I think it was the fact that we had basically changed to a different time.
Yeah.
Rugrats itself had been off the air, I think, for a while, and then they come back with this new show that just so happens to have more grown up versions of these characters. I think it would, if they would have had the show while it was successful, while it was running, and gradually age them over time, I think you'd still have that fan base. I think The Simpsons obviously have a big enough fan base that it's still going after all these years. I don't think people would be that pissed off if now 30 plus years later, if maybe Maggie was 5 years old and you'd have her going to maybe preschool or kindergarten, and the stories that you could tell with now you know, Maggie going there and Bart and Lisa going to middle and high school or high school, and then obviously Homer doing whatever the fuck he does and Marge doing whatever the fuck she does. Like, I'm just saying there are tons of stories that they could tell still, and they decide, no, you know, everyone's got to stay the same. I don't know how they do it. Obviously, it's doing well for itself. It makes the money and it sticks around. So obviously, there's a fandom for it. I just don't fucking get it.
I think that, well, what they've done is in certain episodes they will age everyone. You know, they move forward with time. So they do sprinkle
That's
in some of
true.
that in there. It's just not the whole episode itself.
I guess the reason why I appreciate that they do that there are episodes where they do like a flash forward.
Hmm.
I guess the reason why it bothers me a little bit is that I see what they could do by doing a flash forward, and then they, by the end of the episode, they say, "Oh, it was just a dream," or "Oh, it was this," or "Oh, it was that," and everything's back to normal. I guess maybe if they did like little mini series within the show where like you get like maybe a full season where they're like older and then go back the next season, this, you know, by the end of that season, been like, oh, this was, you know, just a look at what the future could look like, and somehow storytell it wise, make sure, you know, that that you know they're still this age, but you still get like maybe a season where they're like aging up. So like I said, you would get a season where maybe Bart's in high school instead of maybe not just one episode where he's doing like high school type shit or is a full grown adult or this or that. So I don't know. There's a way to do it that it would work. That I don't understand why they're not doing it, and I don't understand how it's still so successful.
Well, surprisingly, they're still averaging about 2 million views per episode.
Crazy.
Which is, yeah, blown away that
crazy.
that many people watch The Simpsons still. It's good for them, I guess.
I
Probably
mean,
hardcore fans, or maybe those who are still watching with bunny ears,
and
because it's still on Fox. So,
I think that first movie did really well for itself.
oh,
So
it did well. Yeah,
any new movie is going to do well.
yeah.
But I'm also not surprised that it's taken 18 years to do a new movie, and I'll tell you why. I remember an interview with Seth MacFarlane, who does Family Guy,
Hmm.
and he said the amount of time that it would take to do a movie
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and still do the TV show,
yeah,
like it's very, very hard because you're taking the same team
yeah.
to try and write a successful movie while still trying to put out the content for a movie. So
I think
it's not.
they've also cut back a number of episodes they do per season for The Simpsons. So I think
Probably.
that helps a lot too as well. If you're only doing, 12 or so episodes a year versus before they used to do 20, 30 episodes a year, that's a pretty big difference as well.
The standard is usually 24 to 26.
Yeah.
So but there's depending on how many breaks they take, they could do 12 to 13 episodes. Because
Okay.
they also do that. I think that's just an industry standard because Japanese animation does it too. Anime does it too. There's half cores that are 12 to 13 episodes, and then there's full cores, which are 24 to 26.
Okay.
And I think that's just a standard thing because I noticed a lot of when I'm looking through like a wikia of like a fandom, I'll notice that like, oh, this show here is 7 seasons long, and every season has say 15 episodes or 13 episodes, or oh, this every season has 20 some odd episodes, and it always kind of stays fairly consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Well, so July 23rd, 2027 is the release date of The Simpsons. So a year and a half from now is when we'll, be able to actually see it.
Yeah,
for those
that's
interested.
still a long way to go.
If theaters are even a thing, the
Yeah.
Simpsons have been great at telling us what the future is, but it's probably just
I can
because
see
of the sheer.
future.
It's probably just because of the sheer number of episodes they have done.
Yeah,
Eventually, some of them have to come true.
yeah. I mean, they're known for having pretty accurate predictions in some of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Anything
we'll see.
to add to our episode, Mark?
No, nothing for the episode.
All right. Well, as always, thanks everyone for listening to, the loading screen, not the pixel realms, but the loading screen. And I know in the past we've always said we're going to do every week, every 2 weeks, but now we're going to kind of just do it whenever there's an actual a good enough amount of news for us to cover per episode.
I think it's better for us overall to for one, not lose interest and not feel forced.
Mm-hmm.
I like the news model instead of trying to think. Like, I also like having an occasional episode where we can have like one subject to talk about, but I think that needs to be like few and far between because it starts to feel forced.
Yeah, absolutely.
With at least with the news stuff, it's it's current, it's up to date for the most part. It's just that we sometimes let it build like a week or two because we're not a huge channel. If we were a huge channel that got tons of subscribers, tons of people, then yeah, we could probably do once a week or once every 2 weeks because we need to stay hot and current with all the like up-to-date stuff. But unless you're a political channel, you ain't got nothing to talk about every single week anyway.
Exactly. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you for the next episode.